There are new amazing SaaS stories and experiences being shared online every single day, but it's really hard to keep up. And that's why I have you covered in this video. I'll be going over the latest and top stories around SaaS so you can learn some super insightful lessons. For our first story, we're gonna get some insights from one of the co-founders of WP Umbrella and their second year in their journey. They went from 7 to 25K in monthly recurring revenue, and they have some awesome insights to share. To note, WP Umbrella is a life-changing WordPress management tool for your agency. So overall, their year marked some big changes. They evolved from just 2 co-founders here to a unified team of 5. And they saw their user base grow from 479 paying users to over 1,300. And overall, they have 2 approaches to share on product development. So the first one is user-centric development, as they really take a look at their users' feedback, needs, and experiences when developing any new features or improvements. And it's about fostering a community where each member contributes to the product's growth. They try to reflect this in everything they do. Secondly, they're crafting a tool for developers that shouldn't feel like a typical developer's tool. It should be user-friendly, easy to use, and not intimidating. And their goal is to bridge the gap between advanced functionality and intuitive design. Part of this as well was making their roadmap visible on Notion, and users were not only suggesting new features, but also discussing the potential impact of their features, sharing personal experiences, and helping them prioritize what matters most. Next, we'll be taking a look at a story written by Wide, and it's their 2023 adventure from 0 to 100 users. So they're a product designer, and they've always wanted to launch their own product business, but finding the right idea was tough. They used to think they needed to solve some massive world-changing problem, and that just left them feeling stuck and overwhelmed. Other times they dive into a project, work like crazy for a few weeks, then hit a wall of burnout and just drop it. There's this one time they actually designed cool dog leashes, got them made in China, and when they arrived, they lost all their interest. And so they got tired of this pattern of start-stop, feeling like they were constantly crying wolf every time they embarked on a new venture. So they changed their habits and they went and looked for inspiration. And so this started from realizing they needed to solve a huge, unprecedented problem. Instead, doing something unique in an existing space could work as well. And so they found a website of a massive collection of app screenshots, which was super helpful for them as a designer. This sparked an idea. What if they did something similar but with video recordings of different app flows? So they got to work, bought a domain name, designed the prototype, and even posted a job on Upwork to find a developer. And so they committed to this project every single day. And so they did this with a full-time job. So if we take a look at their daily routine, it was from 6 to 9 a.m. they worked on their project. And then from 9 to 5, they did their daily job as a designer. So as they started to get development going, they had to pivot. They shared their work with colleagues and they recalled struggling to find design inspiration for emails in a past job. Conversations with marketers revealed a common challenge. They all kept tabs on competitors' emails but had them cluttered in their inbox. And that's when they created Email EMU. And so to quickly validate this concept, they talked with marketers about their current solutions for email inspiration. They set up a pre-launch site for email signups, and they posted a coming soon notice on Product Hunt for early buzz. They noted a few competitors in the space, signaling a good opportunity. So they got around 40 signups from the pre-launch, so they were convinced there was potential, and they went out and hired a developer on Upwork. So while the developer was coding, they stayed active on Product Hunt and LinkedIn, building hype, and after a few months, they launched on November 17th of 2023, mostly through LinkedIn and word of mouth. In their first week, they had 42 signups, and by the second week, a surprise Product Hunt launch brought in a spike of traffic and more signups. Now they've reached over 140 users with minimal marketing. So definitely a super cool story, and to summarize the overall lessons that they learned, small daily changes can lead to powerful habits. Once a routine is established, it becomes easier to maintain. Love the process, not the outcome. And just start somewhere even if you don't have all the answers. Lastly, there's always room for new players, even in solved problem spaces. That's a great thing to note here, as there is always a different niche that you can narrow down in and find your own market space. Next, we're going to share an awesome story from Noah, and it's how they helped a B2C app grow to 20K in monthly recurring revenue until the pandemic hit. So this B2C app was based in New Orleans. They had created a database of happy hours and food specials at over 400 restaurants. So by 2020, they were able to reach 20K in MRR, completely bootstrapped with no advertisements on the app. So in terms of the growth of this app, for the first 100-ish users, they acquired these via word of mouth. The next movement was via social media. They started posting on Reddit, and they built their Instagram and partnered with foodie influencers and made a Facebook group called Happy Hour Hunters. Best two plays here were Instagram and other people's Facebook groups. Next, they started partnering with local events. Professional events provided serious business networking and user acquisition. They also ran some small-time Google ads for keywords such as New Orleans Happy Hour. This was growing really well until the pandemic happened, unfortunately, as their free and premium service was based for dine-in business at restaurants and bars. And for almost 6 months in 2020, there was no dining allowed, only outdoor seating. So the site and app are still live at this point, but the premium subscription hasn't been resurrected, and now we're here backed away from the project. They still have an advisory role, but it's been tough to build it back up over the last few years. For our next story, we're going to take a look at a founder's 2023 year in review with $100K in an AI micro SaaS. So the author this year moved out of their VC job to start a micro SaaS product studio called 1811 Labs. And the idea was to assemble a group of builders and hackers who would come together to ship fun products very quickly. They shipped a total of 6 products. One of the products, called AI Pickup Lines, sort of went viral and got around 50 to 60K monthly visits. In March, they built a tool called Visualize AI, and it was a ControlNet-based visualization tool for interior designers. They hit a few $1,000s in revenue within 3 months, and they found a buyer by the end of June, and it was acquired for around 30K. And around April, they were looking to build a mega GPT tool, and it was going to be a tool that would solve a lot of smaller use cases in one avenue. This led to Headlines AI, and it was a headlines, hashtag, and description generator for videos and blogs. They had over 345,000 visits and 190,000 signups till date, with again a few $1,000s in revenue, and they just sold it a few days ago for a small amount. So for these two tools, they used Bubble and ControlNet and Stable Diffusion hosted by Replicate. And for the Headlines AI tool, they used Bubble, OpenAI, and on the back end, they use Next.js, Subbase, Vercel, and OpenAI's APIs. So in terms of more complicated products, in May, they were playing around with Whisper, that's OpenAI's speech-to-text tool. They thought of building out a cool voice-first note-taking app called Audio Notes. They launched the first version in May, only to find out that a competitor who had already gone viral existed. They shipped 2 iterations of the tool to make it stand out, and they finally started getting traction in September, but they also saw a copycat tool come up, who ripped them off in terms of design as well as bought the .ai domain name. But they kept on shipping, and they grew the tool to $24,000 in revenue, and they're super bullish on the product and are actively working on growing the product to a sizable revenue. In terms of the stack, they use Bubble, Whisper, GPT-4, GPT 3.5, and the APIs on DigitalOcean. In June, they built a tool called PodNotes, and it was a sister product of Audio Notes, and it's on the same platform as Audio Notes, but serves podcasters. Audio Notes can record up to 50 minutes without total recording limits, whereas PodNotes can transcribe as big of a file with monthly minute transcription limits. They launched PodNotes on AppSumo and crossed $23,000 in revenue in just 5 to 6 months. And at present, they're rolling out all new versions based on user feedback and moving to a monthly recurring model. Early leads look promising, and they have crossed $500 in recurring revenue. For the stack for this product, it's Bubble, Whisper, GPT-4, GPT-3, and APIs again on DigitalOcean. So in terms of what's next, their focus is growing Audio Notes and PodNotes to reach bigger revenue milestones quickly as they continue to make their products better. So their idea is simple: build products, build distribution, and hit those amazing revenue milestones while building in public, though a lot more people can be inspired to build. They are a floating team of 5, and each one of their projects may have a different team, with some of them working on individual products as well. So for their 100K breakdown, 50K was from acquisitions, 50K was revenue from Audio Notes and PodNotes, and the last 10K in revenue was from Headlines AI, Avatarize, and Visualize AI. If you've gotten this far in the video, I'm sure you want to go and build your own micro SaaS. That's why I have free micro SaaS ideas for you. There's a link in the description below, and all you have to do is enter in your email. I also have a course on how to build your very own micro SaaS, even if you don't have any SaaS experiences or product ideas. There's a link in the description for this as well, so make sure you check that out. But overall, this concludes the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you like and subscribe to this video. That really helps the channel out. I'm also coming up with new SaaS videos all the time, so you don't want to miss out there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.